SEC Network Women's Basketball presented by Regions. Excellent weather here for this Thursday night action from Gainesville between Alabama and Florida. The Crimson Tide hoping to string together some wins with the SEC tournament just around the corner as they face off against the Gators. Speaking of the Florida Gators, how about the former sharpshooter Steffi Sorensen? What's good, my friend? Tiffany Green here with you as well. And while most teams are looking to tune up for the postseason, the Florida Gators will have to do so without the services of their star guard, Lavender Briggs, sidelined with a foot injury announced Monday, and that's a huge blow for the Gators.
Yeah, Tiff, this is a player who's giving you 20 and 40, 20 points in 40 minutes. Her absence definitely is going to be felt by the Gators. But against Kentucky, other people stepped up. Let's start with Nina Ricards. She put on a show, dropped 19 points, 10 rebounds versus Kentucky, who had a tough time keeping her in front because she's a slasher. She's extremely quick to the rim, underrated passer. She had 6 assists in that game, and that was from the inside. Let's talk about the outside. The three-point shot from Danielle Rainey. She was red hot. Biggest difference, Tiffany, was her confidence. With Briggs being out, Rainey knew her number was going to be called, and she delivered 6 threes, a career-high 20 points against Kentucky.
When you have top-notch performances like that, it's got to be encouraging for Cam Newbauer. Meanwhile, for Christy Curry, she has a player and a star for the future in the WNBA potentially in Jasmine Walker. She had a career night against Auburn in their win.
I mean, she was fantastic. I called this game, and I asked her, I said, have you ever been in a zone like you were where you hit 7 threes in this game? And she said no. And it showed. She has built and showcased this senior season as she is an incredible player, potentially in the WNBA. Only person in the SEC to rank top 5 in scoring and rebounding.
Walker leading the way for Alabama with 21 points and 10 rebounds as we are just about set to go from Exact Tech Arena, and we are underway. Alabama controlling the tip, coming in at 13-6 overall this season, but they're an even 500, trying to match or perhaps exceed the number of SEC wins that they saw last season, which was 8. Mariah Copeland down low, so efficient around the hoop, gets her own rebound, the O-board leads to points. Talk about that starting 5, see a little difference shifting around with players. Ricards and Rainey coming off of career best performances. They, along with Kiki Smith, combined for 62 points in their loss Monday against Kentucky. But this Florida Gator group shot a career high season high 52% from the field. They knocked down 10 threes, but they go inside this time. The Florida Toners, who's making her 4th consecutive start.
I think the key, too, for Alabama, take a look at their starting 5, is what was overshadowed with Jasmine Walker dropping 41 was Mariah Copeland having the game that she did, 21 points, 11 rebounds. I think if they play inside out, that's really the key for Alabama.
Mariah Copeland is one of those players who we mentioned, just so good around the rim. We'll tell you a little bit more about her as Kiki Smith drives the lane, finishes with her left hand as
she's just had such a good year. Her and Lav Briggs, they were like Batman and Robin out there. I mean, this is a tag team thing for them. So Kiki Smith's going to continue and get you almost 20 points now in the last 7 games. She does everything for the Gators.
But you see the thought process early on for Alabama trying to go inside and call on number 22 and Crimson. Copeland off the mark there. Here come the Gators in the corner. Off the mark, and Megan Abrams coming down with the rebound, the junior out of Lafayette, Louisiana. Averaging about 8 a game, finds Jordan Lewis, the redshirt senior, in the corner, and she drains the 3. Good start
I was really curious.
Jordan Lewis.
Yeah, I mean, I was curious how she would come out and play today. She only took 5 shots against Auburn. I mean, obviously we talked about Mariah Copeland and Jasmine Walker, so she didn't really have to do much, but Jordan Lewis, you know, she averages 17 a game in SEC play, so good start for her. Kiki Smith so good at getting to the rim. understands the angles, goes right at defenders, and then Bama coming right back, wide open. Jordan Lewis can't leave her that open. She's gonna knock it down.
Lewis, one of the most experienced point guards in the league. Trying to cut to the basket again. A couple of opportunities as Faith Duke checks in for the Gators. 5-4 early going between Alabama and Florida. Whistle with the foul on the floor. Gators commit the foul.
Florida foul is on number 15, Nina Ricard. That's her
on Jasmine Walker.
Team first.
Excuse me, commit the foul on Abrams.
She'll shoot 2 shots. Substitution for the Gators, number 22, Brad Farrell.
Jasmine Walker, the senior out of Montgomery, Alabama, the reigning SEC Player of the Week. We mentioned her fantastic performance against Auburn this past weekend, setting an Alabama scoring record, broken nearly 3 decades. As UF, who started this game 2 for 2 from the floor, has since gone cold. Abrams coming back the other way for the Crimson Tide. Well, you will see a lot of 3, 22, and 40 and Crimson, and that's part of the big 3 there in Jordan Lewis.
Yeah, their trio accounted for almost 80% of their scoring against Auburn. I mean, they really do it all. They carry so much of the load for Alabama. They don't have a deep bench. And so it's kind of for them as they try to tune up, get ready for March. All 3 of those players playing well at the same time, clicking on all cylinders. Because then you got a point guard, 1-2 guard in Jordan Lewis. She's controlling the tempo. Jasmine Walker can score anywhere, and then Araya Copeland obviously holding it down in the paint. You got your bases covered with those 3.
And right now, the Crimson Tide coming out sharp on the road. They're on a 7-0 run with nearly 2 for the last 2 minutes, and Megan Abrams tries to take it right down, and Christina Moore commits the personal foul.
You know, Cam Neubauer was really pleased with his team's effort against Kentucky, even though they lost the game, but they fought. I mean, that's the signature with the Gators, right? They hang and they fight with every team. But there's got to be an adjustment with Lavender Briggs out. I think that they were playing a lot of adrenaline and emotion, you know, having to play that first game without her. And so who is going to be a consistent scorer now outside of Kiki Smith? I think we have to wait and see with this game. They did it against Kentucky, other players stepping up, but they need to take some shots here as Alabama can't miss.
And one of the teams who is great at defending the 3-point shot, the Florida Gators, right now, Jordan Lewis is just burning them at this point. She's knocked down a couple of 3s here early on, and Bama starting out strong with a 10-0 run right now, just about halfway through the first quarter.
Yeah, Florida's in SEC play, they're 4th, allowing just over 30% from the 3. But right now, Alabama, 2 for 4, and it was a good look at Lavender Briggs. I was listening to Danielle Rainey talk after the game about how even with her not playing the game, she has so much of an impact on them, what she was saying to them, just her body language, how she was interacting with the team.
When you think about a player who is having one of the best seasons a Florida Gator has ever had, and then you take her production out of the lineup, it's a huge blow. But her voice in the locker room still speaks volumes. And a lot of missed opportunities there on the offensive end for the Gators. They've missed their last 8 shots, but they've gotten some good looks.
Yeah, they have, and they're coming off a game where they shot, you know, as you mentioned, over 50% from the floor. They had good looks, a lot of them on the interior through dribble penetration. Christina Moore, exactly what you got to do.
Alabama foul number 40, Jasmine Walker. That's her first, team second.
Good look there at Cam Neubauer in his 4th season with the group. And remember, he missed a few games. Last time I think I saw the Gators, it was Kelly Ray Finley, the associate head coach, who filled in. He was missing in action due to health and safety protocols, but he came back just in time for that overtime thriller against LSU.
Yeah, terrific celebration with his team after that LSU win. Kelly Ray Finley had some time. It's associate head coach with Cam, who the players absolutely love. Absolutely love. She's a tremendous recruiter for the Gators.
Bama spacing the floor. In the corner. Great open look, and again, Alabama continuing to knock them down from outside. 3 of 5 so far. That one coming off the hands of Allie Craig Cruz.
Clearly the three-point shooting for Alabama has traveled to Gainesville. As that Allie Craig Cruz, she didn't miss against Auburn, picking up right where she left off. It's tough to do on the road.
Back the other way, and Christina Moore is able to drain the trifecta, and for the Gators, that's their first made 3 of the ball game. More importantly, their first made bucket in 4.5 minutes. The lone meeting this season between these two teams, and it's been interesting the last few, but how about interesting? Hannah Barber says, let me sign my name up for that 3-ball action. She hits it.
Sharing is caring. Look, she played really well against Auburn, had 11 assists, and hit some threes too.
Moore with the ball fake, comes in a little bit closer. The mid-range jumper falls, and Christina Moore, a player who really did a good job of getting her body in shape and getting together, and she's got 7 early points here to lead the way for Florida. Well, out of control there and a turnover, but how about 3 different Alabama players dialing it up from long range? Let's call on Jordan Lewis, number 3 in Crimson. Oh, baby. SEC Network Women's Basketball is presented by Regions, official bank of the SEC. Well, the 3-ball is setting the tone early on for this Alabama Crimson Tide team on the road.
Yeah, Alabama in conference play is 3rd in threes per game with just over 7, but starting this game red hot. Florida's got to do a better job of rotating over defensively and communicating, because a lot of these, they're wide open, and when you can't miss, you got to do a better job and be more detail oriented in your closeouts.
You see there Jordan Lewis having all 9 of her points coming from beyond the arc. And again, we talked about just the way that this trio has played for Lewis. We've seen her step up her game in SEC play. She had a career high 28 points against South Carolina in a game we called. Had the first career double-double against Ole Miss. And so she is a player who is described as the heartbeat of this team. And so far, she's helping to get them going early. Wide open look there, and it's drained by Nina Rickards. Rickards, we mentioned at the start of the broadcast, coming off a career-high 19 points, added 10 rebounds, along with career-best 6 assists as well, and first miss from behind the three-point line for Jordan Lewis.
Cam Neubauer does such a good job of play calling off of a timeout. Knows exactly where to get the ball. There's Nina Rickards again. I talked about her being a little bit of an underrated passer. Had 6 assists in their game against Kentucky. Finds faith there. I think as they dribble, penetrate, and kick out, find ways to get other players involved, they're successful.
This one off the mark from Taylor Sutton.
getting Faith Dude involved, catches Ariah Copeland late defensively, but Nina Ricards, this week she's really put in the effort in practice, getting extra shots up, knowing that Lavender Briggs was going to be out. And she's just put in the work, and it's no coincidence. You know, we talk to so many of these coaches, and you say, what's been the biggest difference in the last few weeks? Well, they got in the gym. She's been in the gym, and it pays off.
Florida starting to figure it out on offense. That was their first miss. That they hit 7 in a row prior to that shot. But going back to your point about Nina Ricards, you know, earlier in the season you talked about Cam Newbauer was saying, who is it going to be? Who's going to be my third consistent scorer? And now, given the opportunity, a player like Nina Ricards and Danielle Rating saying, hey, you know, we'll raise our hand, and we'll fill that void.
And Cameron Newbauer's talked about for Nina Ricards, she hasn't been satisfied with what she's been able to do this season. And she showcased, you know, a bounce back in a big way against Kentucky with that double-double. And there's Copeland. I'm telling you, they play inside out. That really makes a difference for the Crimson Tide.
4 points for Copeland. She's 4th in the nation in field goal percentage, tops in the SEC. See how effective she is around the bucket. Abrams getting them moving. In the corner is Taylor Sutton. Smith, what a pass. Keeps it alive, tries to put it up, and she's fouled.
Kiki Smith keeps her dribble alive. What a scoop pass to Faith Dude. But then she gets herself fouled, and I've just been so impressed with Kiki Smith this year, Tiff. We've called a couple Florida games now, and just the process of her maturing and becoming a real leader for this team, especially with Briggs going down, you know, to keep the ship steady.
Well, just a reminder to our viewers, our next SEC storied film is titled Once Upon a Comeback, and it premieres Monday at 9 Eastern right here on the SEC Network, telling the story of the famed University of Florida swimmer and U.S. legend Dar Torres, how she overcame some personal issues in UF. Yeah, but she went on to win a lot of gold medals. How about 5 Olympic gold medals, 12 rather, in 5 Olympic games. She was pretty impressive.
Cam Newbauer has to be pleased with the play of Christina Moore. She, you know, first game back against Kentucky, she was in concussion protocol. She didn't even practice, came in, had 2 steals. But she's really made a difference in this first quarter.
And if you look on the floor for Alabama defensively, Ariah Copeland, she picked up her 2nd personal foul a couple of possessions ago. So as the first quarter winds down, we'll see how the Gators look to attack here, and of course, to start that second quarter. Just short and just under a second remaining in this first quarter. Well, Alabama got out to a big lead, as many as 8, but how about the Florida Gators coming back to try to close the gap a little bit? They went on a 13-6 run to close out that first quarter. They trail by 3.
And one thing I always say, you know, where I am now, UF has a lot to do. My education afforded me to be able to be in the position that I'm in now. And so they provided not only top quality in sports, you know, training, personnel, even with our education, they provided everything I needed. Any athlete, anything you need, they provided. So if you're not successful, it's because you didn't want it.
Well, during the break, Kim Barton was honored as one of the historical hidden figures throughout the SEC, played with the Gators basketball team from 1984 to 85, and went on to become the Alachua County Supervisor of Elections, the first African American to be elected to the Supervisor of Elections in 2016. And salute to Kim Barton, yeah, for her time with the Gators. A proud Lady Gator, as I used to say.
I love what she said about, her education at Florida. And, it was when we're all filming from home and we're putting our studios together, right? And I was thinking of what I wanted in my backdrop, and I'm like, what am I most proud of? Florida, my Florida degree. I mean, I've had a few people text me like, sweet education flex, and I'm like, it's the thing I'm most proud of, honestly. And so I really agree, and I think a lot of student athletes feel that way when they graduate and move on to a new career, and they realize how important it is and how valuable.
And obviously she enjoyed her time in Gainesville because she stayed, and Alachua County is the county in which Gainesville resides, and so she's still making an impact and getting a chance to witness Gators women's basketball. I'll tell you, Alabama came straight out the gate hot, was 5 of 9 in that first quarter from three-point range. And you mentioned, Steffi, how well they did against Auburn. They did very much the same thing, and now Megan Abrams saying, I'll take it a little bit closer in.
This is an interesting quarter for me because Alabama, statistically, second quarter is their worst quarter. And can the Florida Gators capitalize on that and get some more production from Danielle Rainey? Can they get her going from the three-point line? Kiki Smith as well. Unselfish basketball, Copeland. Just pretty, moving without the basketball, cut to the basket, make yourself available.
For those of you just tuning in and looking at the Gators and not seeing Lavender Briggs on the floor, she is sidelined with a foot injury. She will miss the remainder of the season, and the Gators are figuring out ways to try to win without her. You see, I like it. Rocking the fro.
Yeah.
Just letting it go. Just letting it be. I feel it.
I love her game, love her attitude. After that Kentucky game, we were actually interviewing Ryan Howard, and I asked her what was going through her head when she saw that Lavender Briggs was out. She's like, I was bummed. I mean, she has the respect of everybody, coaches and players in this league. At just a sophomore, she was having a heck of a season.
We talked about sophomore out of Provo, Utah, and just the 20 points that, she essentially brought to this team night in and night out. And as you see, she sent out a tweet earlier this week and she said, look, competitors never like to be taken out of the fight, but with the news that my season is over for this year, I'm disappointed but encouraged, as I know adversity builds resilience. And she went on to say, let's just keep on building. And look, she's an important piece, she's a crucial piece, and she's a superstar piece in which Cam Newbauer can continue to build this Gator program.
Yeah, and this team is still very young. I mean, Nina Rickards is a sophomore. Jordan Merritt is a player that has been starting since she's been out. She's a freshman, highly touted freshman. They need a little bit more production out of her, but still some pieces there that Cam Newbauer is very excited about, and obviously Briggs the big part of it.
Here's a look at Jordan Merritt, highest ranked UF recruit since 2013, held scoreless in her last game, but they need her 6'3" frame to add some oomph to that forward position for the squad.
Well, you take a look at what Jasmine Walker, she's 6'3". She plays that kind of a hybrid forward guard position, and her ability just to score anywhere on the floor, and that's what they're kind of hoping from Jordan Merritt too.
What I find interesting is that you just mentioned Jasmine Walker's name. And when you think about what she did in her last game with 41 points, she only has 1 here tonight. So the Gators defense doing their thing. And how about Christina Moore? We saw her in that first quarter coming off the bench. She contributed 7 quick points, and there she commits her second personal foul.
Well, if you're Jasmine Walker, it's pretty tough to score 41, and then your next game, you know that the bar is so high for Walker. 7 threes. I mean, it was crazy. And 15 rebounds.
Oh yeah, by the way, that too. Her 11th double-double of the season. As we say her name, her ears were burning. She said, okay, let me get on the board.
Well, she just lets the game come to her, and that's part of what makes her so good. Is she doesn't force a lot of shots. There she reads the defense, slips to the basket.
Nearly stolen away by Abrams. Still retaining possession. Gators see that 3 fall just short. That's Bryn Farrell, the freshman out of New Jersey. Shot clock winding down. Kiki Smith, let it rip! Kiki Smith, I continue to just enjoy watching her play because she just rises to the occasion. She knows exactly what's needed in all situations, and it seems like she just is such a gamer. You know, comes up with the plays, and they say, who's going to go to? Let's go to Kiki Smith.
And she's really not known for shooting the 3, but as you mentioned, rising to the occasion, knowing that those are the shots that are going to be open. And she's battled. She had 2 knee injuries before she even got to Florida. Battled through that, rehabbed. Was originally a Syracuse commit. Wound up in the orange and blue, a different orange.
Little floater in the lane, falling off the hands of Jordan Lewis. Lewis now with a game-high 11 points. Smith drops it off to Duke. Duke double team. Merritt back over to Ricards, off the mark. They get the ball quickly down the floor, and Jasmine Walker says, count that.
Pays to have a point guard who understands where there's a mismatch. Ricards guarding Jasmine Walker at 6'3", got that all day for the easy 2.
Kiki Smith working on Barber. Duke coming down with the rebound and throws it right into the hands, turns it over. Jasmine Walker spotting up for 3, and she just made that look so effortless.
Everybody sit back and watch.
Yeah. Jasmine Walker, a really fun player to watch. I was hopeful when this game was on the schedule to say, I want to see Walker versus Briggs. Okay, not happening tonight, but 7 of the last 9 Alabama points have come off the fingertips of Jasmine Walker. She says, oh, I'm only just getting started.
Well, coming up in just a few on the SEC Halftime Report, we'll talk the game after this one. The Lady Vols taking on South Carolina. We'll talk about how weather these games today in the first half of this one. Coach, what have you seen?
Yeah, I mean, Florida's got to defend the three-point line. Alabama's knocking it down.
We'll see y'all in just a few.
All right, appreciate it. Talk about weathering the storm. How the Gators going to weather the storm of Lavender Briggs being out right now. Kiki Smith carrying the load this second quarter, scored all 5 of UF's points, but they've got to find a way to get more production. As Smith with 9, Christina Moore we saw with 7 points, but Rainey, Tonders, Duke, Ricards, what's up?
You know, Florida does a really good job of getting on the glass, and they have 7 offensive rebounds to Alabama's 3, but they've turned it over on some of those possessions. They left some points out there. So what Florida does really well is they dribble penetrate, they get into the paint, and they'll either score, great pass, just empty possessions like that for the Gators. They've had really good looks against the 2-3 matchup zone that Alabama plays.
Cruz saves it. Remember, Raya Copeland with 2 fouls, and so she's not on the floor for Alabama.
Timeout, Alabama.
And a timeout taken on the floor by Alabama. Well, just a reminder, you heard it. Let's talk about it in studio. Coming up next, it's 2 versus 21, South Carolina and Tennessee. I'm itching to see this one, Steffi. What are you looking forward to most?
Oh, it's going to be a great game. You know, I know Tennessee has lost 2 in a row, and I think they just wanted to get out there and play. We were supposed to call their game against Georgia, which was postponed, and I think they're probably itching to take the court against South Carolina tonight.
When you look at all the teams out of the SEC that Charlie Cream has in his bracketology making the tournament, 8 in total. You know, Christy Curry is hopeful and encouraged that that holds true and that they can make a run in the SEC tournament and then go on to the NCAA tournament, given the fact that they haven't been there in like 20 years. Quite honestly,
really
she feels like this is the group. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. No, it's true. This is the year for them to go. This senior class, the trio that we talk about with Walker, Lewis, Copeland, they're special. And they are very aware of the record that it's been 20 years since Alabama's gone to the NCAA tournament. And they're not a bubble team. They're in. And they just want to continue to build off of that and make something happen in Greenville, South Carolina at the SEC tournament.
Coming away March 3rd through the 7th as Smith steps into that jumper. Both of these teams in the second of 3 games this week. Mighty busy. Cross-court pass finding in the corner. Right back. And Farrell knocks it down, saying swish. You know, Bryn Farrell, she's one of those interesting players because in her last 6 games, 6 is her magic number. So let's keep an eye on that because in each of the last 3 games, she's scored exactly 6 points, the first 6 coming against Tennessee.
Yeah, freshman that Cam Neubauer is really excited about. She actually chose Florida over Alabama in her recruiting process. Terrific 3-point shooter.
Everyone's getting 3 happy here, and that one did not touch the rim. Shot clock violation, so credit Florida's defense.
One thing with being a shooter is being ready on the catch. And we saw Bryn Farrell, she was ready, hands up, calling for the ball. Feet were set, she drills it. And here's Florida, just 4 points, chipping away at that Alabama lead that they built in the first quarter.
When you said that,
Mind those at home, Tiffany, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you, but Copeland being on the bench with 2 fouls. So they haven't necessarily been able to play that inside-out game.
Shot clock violation. Florida basketball.
The officiating crew for tonight, Brian Garland, Maggie Tyman, and Douglas Knight, they were reviewing that to see if it was in fact the shot clock violation, and that's what it is ruled. So Florida gets the ball back. Steffi Sorensen, Tiffany Green here with you. Alabama has been hot from 3-point land. But Gators coming back, the and one right there. Nina Ricards will try to finish off the 3-point play and pull within 1.
Great half-court execution by Florida. Get Nina Ricards on the move off the screen. So she's not stagnant on offense. She's great at getting to the rim, terrific slasher. should get her going offensively.
And the Gators trailing by just one with the 2-minute mark here in the second quarter. Abrams finds Walker. Walker, that is just so tough to defend. She rises and elevates. 10 points now for Jasmine Walker. That broke up an 8-0 run for the Gators.
Florida's got to be a little bit careful with them leaving their feet, trying to make a pass. There they turn it over, but they've been caught a couple times.
Alabama taking their time. Lewis over to Abrams. Abrams in the lane, kicks it back out. Jordan Lewis gives it right back. Jordan Merritt tried to go to the bucket, just forgot the basketball in the process. 6 turnover now for the Gators.
Substitution for the Gators, number 10, Danielle Rainey.
Some unforced errors. If you watched Serena Williams last night, she had a few in her match against Osaka.
Yeah, I felt some type of way about that.
Man.
I mean, but, you know, it's the GOAT versus the future, right?
The baby
Osaka
goat.
did her job. Yeah, baby GOAT. Yeah, she, like, hauled off 4 straight, like, service aces, got 4 straight points or whatever to win the set. She was amazing. Jasmine Walker, equally as amazing. Again, that mid-range and turnaround, and that is just so tough to defend as Jasmine Walker has 11 points this quarter.
I really like Alabama going small with Walker at the 5. It's a mismatch. Whoever's guarding her.
Farrell leaves it short.
Florida basketball.
Florida retains possession as Christy Curry's group is up by 5 on the road. Last time these two teams met, it was a win in Tuscaloosa. In fact, Crimson Tide have won 3 of the last 4. As Jordan Merritt whistled for the offensive foul. Excuse me, Danielle Rainey.
There's Hannah Barber. She's so tough, so stout. She reminds me a lot of Blair Schaefer. The way that she impacts the game. The former Mississippi State Bulldog, Blair Schaefer, now on staff at Texas with her dad. And just she would hit big threes, take charges, just so gritty and tough. And that's exactly how Hannah Barber plays for Christy Curry's team.
That one deflected. Copeland back in for this final possession. Barber shows a go. Got to get it up before the end of the half. And Barber hits it. So Hannah Barber taking a bruising on the other end and then coming right back and getting the shot off before the end of the half to put her team up. As Alabama going on a 6-0 run to close out the half, they lead by 7.
And with that,
Ben Hill Griffin Stadium, like call the swamp here in Gainesville. It's the Alabama Crimson Tide leading 37-30 at the half. Steffi Sorensen, Tiffany Green here with you. And quickly, first half thoughts.
Well, I have to agree with my best friend in studio, Coach Landers. Florida's defense on the three-point line was suspect. I mean, they gave up a lot of three-pointers. It's what Alabama really was able to build off of with Copeland going out with 2 fouls. So they've got to defend better from that three-point line. But they're doing a great job on the glass, out-rebounding Alabama. Florida left some points on the board. I'd like to see if they can turn that around in the second half.
They got within 1, but I'll tell you this, of those 20 rebounds, Florida had 8 offensive boards, and to match that number 8 second chance points. But Jasmine Walker, who decided to wake up in that second quarter, scored just 1 point to open this ball game, but in that second quarter dropped 11. So we saw the trio start things out as Copeland is back on the floor. She didn't play much in that first half because of foul trouble. Jasmine Walker and Jordan Lewis said, we'll pick up the slack for you.
It's kind of been the way the trio has worked for Alabama. It seems to be two of them will get on during one night, and those people will shift a different game. It's getting all three within a game that really makes Alabama special. Here goes Walker.
You got to stop the conversation every time she lets the ball fly, just because it's just like, what? What's she gonna do? Great pass from Kiki Smith inside to Jordan Merritt. Great recognition, and Merritt was left wide open. Walker with the contact and going back to that Florida score.
Always love when guards keep that dribble up and pass with that same hand as Kiki Smith does with her left and finds Jordan Merritt.
Cam Neubauer told us really in the early part of the SEC season just how determined Kiki Smith was to try to get herself in shape and get her mind right and prepare herself for a potential run in the WNBA or playing pro. And I'll tell you, between Kiki Smith and Jasmine Walker, I mean, these are two players who we've seen just get it done for their teams this season.
And just evolve their games throughout their careers.
And Barbara on the break, and that was turned over, 5th turnover now. But when you see the comparison just between, you know, the two seniors both having very good nights. Remember, Kiki Smith is used to playing off of Lavender Briggs. There's a tandem there. Jasmine Walker obviously has Jordan Lewis and Araya Copeland to finish out the big three. We talked about Jordan Lewis, and there she is on cue. 13 points now for Lewis. Alabama enjoying their largest lead of the ball game.
Bama just trying to cover ground in that 2-3 matchup zone, just trying to contain the Gators as they try to go downhill and get to the rim. But it's been all Alabama so far. Jordan Lewis, the senior, so steady, so strong to the rim. Beautiful finish.
Get ready, because Friday, Florida is in action against Kentucky. Number 1 versus 15 right here on the SEC Network. That's at 7 Eastern. You know they like to run off championships down there in Gainesville. Then Missouri and Arkansas going head-to-head. Yeah, that is so much fun to watch, like SEC gymnastics. If you haven't gotten into it, you got to get into it. And not only that, Florida's feeling themselves right now, given the fact that, like, Trinity Thomas is like out of her mind good, okay? And she's the SEC Gymnast of the Week. She's like got it going on.
2020 SEC Gymnast of the Year. She's special. But so is Florida gymnastics team. They're always good. I mean, they were balling when I was there in 2010. I feel like the SEC gymnastics is so competitive.
Are they in prime position to win a championship? So far, they've been holding down that number 1 spot. Meanwhile, Alabama was led pretty much this entire ball game. They got off to a quick start because the 3 ball was working for them. Jordan Lewis was a big part of that, had 9 quick points early on, and there she was trying to take it right to a Gator defender and turns it over.
I think what Florida's missing right now is they just need some offensive firepower outside of Kiki Smith. That's where they hung tough with Kentucky, because they had Danielle Rainey and Nina Ricards both scoring at least 18 points. So their shots were falling. So someone outside of Kiki Smith has got to get hot, take the ball in their hands, and make something happen.
Smith is the only one in double figures. Good look there, just wouldn't go for Ricards, but the Gators will reset here on offense. Duke calling for number 25, and blue goes right at Copeland, kisses it high off the glass. Jasmine Walker just couldn't get the handle. Here come the Gators. Smith going right at Abrams. Barber trying to draw the charge. Instead, it's Kiki Smith. Well, she does draw the charge.
And this is an area where she's got to be a little bit better at with decision making, because she's so good at getting to the rim, but she's got to understand that teams are scouting her as well, and they're just going to wait right outside that restricted area and try to take a charge. Obviously, Hannah Barber does a really good job with that, but if Kiki Smith could master that quick pull-up in transition, it'd be that much better.
Just looking over the last 7 games and how she's been able to make a difference on the floor. 21 points, 8 rebounds. I mean, a very good rebounding guard. She's got good court awareness and quickness. And again, she's having to really kind of carry the load as Copeland with an easy layup.
I think Lavender Briggs, her mentality, as Kelly Ray Finley, their associate head coach, has said that if basketball was an academic, Briggs was trying to get a PhD in it. And I think her and Kiki Smith really together went to the gym, studying film, all those things, preparing like pros. And I think Kiki Smith really benefited from that as well, taking ownership of her game.
Nice dish off from Barber to Copeland once again. So back-to-back possessions, and Copeland comes up with easy buckets. 10-point advantage for Bama. Smith already with 14 points, and how about the fancy pass there, the dime to Duke? Copeland working on Duke back the other way and answers. 6 straight points coming from Mariah Copeland. And then she grabs the rebound. Abrams pushing the pace.
Mariah Copeland making the most of her minutes back in the game. Florida has no answer for her. One of the most efficient post players in the SEC.
The NCAA Women's Basketball Championship on ESPN.
It's Jackson on the drive for the lead. Got it to goal! And that's it. The Baylor Lady Bears are back at the top of college basketball.
Well, coming up next, you don't want to go anywhere, folks. South Carolina and Tennessee, they're going head-to-head in Knoxville. Zia Cook and Aaliyah Boston trying to lead the number 2 South Carolina Gamecocks over 21st ranked Tennessee Lady Vols. And that top 16 for the NCAA was revealed earlier this week. You see South Carolina there at number 2. All top 4 of those teams spent some time at number 1. Meanwhile, Tennessee coming in at number 13. 5 SEC teams.
Well represented.
Total.
Well represented. I think Kentucky is a little bit of a surprise, but they'll welcome it, obviously. You know, one thing I think is interesting looking at that is Texas A&M flying under the radar. And it's been 10 years since they won that national championship with Gary Blair. And on February 28th, they'll play South Carolina. I think we'll learn a lot. If Texas A&M could move up a little bit. I mean, they've kind of hung around 5-6. Could they make it into the top 4?
And just think, they are 8-0 against ranked teams, more than any. In the country, and they're so good 1 through 5. You think maybe Gary Blair kind of appreciates kind of flying under the radar like that, as opposed to all of the attention being on you?
Well, you always love being the underdog. I mean, then you're always playing with a little chip on your shoulder. You know, and Arkansas is a 5 seed. What's so interesting is them not being in the top 16 in that early reveal, but they have 2 wins against, you know, Baylor and UConn.
Right.
They're a team that's interesting in terms of tournament, who they match up with, as Walker hits the 3. It's her 3rd 3. 8th in the nation in 3s per game with 3.
We talked about she had 7 in her last game in that win over Auburn, where that Bama squad put up the most points in an SEC game since 2010.
There it is.
Just letting 3s fly from all over. That stops a 9-0 run for Bama as Bryn Farrell gets now 6 points.
Yep,
Like
that's
you
the
said,
number you
there
mentioned.
it is. Lewis for 3, just short. Copeland going after that rebound. Another O board there for Bama. Good looks for the Crimson Tide. They can't knock it down. Big bucket there from Kiki Smith to bring them within 11. Kind of a danger zone right now if you're the Florida Gators, because Smith has done all the heavy lifting. 17 points now for the senior guard. Abrams finds Copeland. Copeland flicks it up, won't go in. Well, they got to work their way back into this ball game. We saw Christina Moore have an impact off the bench, but who else is going to put up some points for the Gators?
Yeah, and the thing for Florida is getting stops, and one thing that Kelly Ray Finley, who is really in charge of the Gators defense, is 3 stops in a row. 3 stops in a row. That's how you really fight and crawl and get back into games. So they get a stop there. Can they put some offense on the board? Bucket.
Kiki Smith is just like, okay, I'm going to be a one-woman wrecking show. Okay, so everybody just sit back and enjoy this ride with me. Everybody's just testing their range from three-point land. 23-point attempts for both of these teams.
Well, they're both playing a lot of zone, so the three-pointer, it's going to be there. Kiki Smith kind of taking it upon herself right now to just let it rip. You know, they're leaving her open. They're giving her that three. But I like the fact that Bryn Farrell there doesn't take the contested three, but draws the foul and gets to the free throw line.
Coming your way Monday at 9 p.m. Our next SEC storied film is titled Once Upon a Comeback. It takes a close look at the Florida swimming star and U.S. legend Dara Torres, who overcame personal issues and where she went to have a great career, a dozen Olympic medals. You'll want to check it out.
Florida foul on number 2, Emily Sullivan. That's her first, team 4.
Emily Sullivan, seeing her first minutes of the ball game, picks up her first personal foul. In the final minute of the third quarter, Megan Abrams at the charity stripe. And right now, Florida's been able to cut this game down to single digits. They've gone on a 10-0 run until broken up right there by Abrams. Hits one of two.
Big opportunity here for the Gators to score and then get a stop to end this third quarter.
Smith. Over to Farrell. Trying to get that right shot. Bama's defense was defending well right in front, so up the court. And now Bama can hold for the final shot of the third quarter. Lewis over to Walker. Oh, so silky smooth. My goodness, just in rhythm. Jasmine Walker is like butter on your breakfast toast. Come on, come get some.
If there's ever been a player who's increased their draft stock their senior year as big as Jasmine Walker has, let's just take a look at what she's done today here against Florida. Absolutely dominating at 6'3" from that forward position. She can shoot it mid-range from 3. She's aggressive hustles, doing it all for the Crimson Tide and just having a fantastic year. She's never scored as much. She's shooting the best she's ever had from the three-point line, from the floor, and from the free throw line. She's playing more minutes than she ever has in her career. You have to think of 2 players in the league as seniors. Chelsea Dungy, who's improved her draft stock the way that she's playing, and Jasmine Walker. I'm sure I'm leaving out a few, but those 2 really stick out that have transformed their game over the summer.
Yeah, it was like Christy Curry talked about how Jasmine Walker went from shooter to scorer. Just being able to do it in a variety of ways, really trying to work on her mid-range. Obviously, she's got it stacked down from deep. And of her 22 points, 21 of them have come over the second and third quarter. So those have been her hot zones. And man, when you just watch her, the eye test, like, she's just good. She's just fun to watch. Yeah. She's just so easy on the court.
Well, she's very methodical. If you watch her in the half court, she's really good at coming off screens, reading defenses, what you need to be good at if you want to be a really good pro.
Wyatt Copeland was double teamed there, both Sullivan and Smith converging on her. Florida fortunate to get to the offensive rebound. Behind the screen, Smith. Well, I'll tell you, if you're Christy Curry, you like that your big 3 have delivered so far, all averaging double figures this season, and so far Tonight, they've done the same, putting up double figures. And how about Hannah Barber coming out of that starting lineup as well? She's got 8 points.
Yeah, I think the Auburn game really gave them a shot at confidence. They had lost 4 games in a row coming into that Auburn game, and they played so well. They shot really well. It looks like they're kind of in that zone, which if you're Christy Curry, you want to be peaking around this time.
Off the mark and kind of pinballing around. Jump ball and possession arrow goes with Alabama. You know, Christy Curry kind of talked about how she felt like last season's momentum was stopped, obviously, like everybody else with the pandemic, but she thought last year's team had a shot of making it to the tournament. This year, they've made the case, and they've proven the case thus far, according to Charlie Cream's bracketology. Projected 7 seed, 35 in the net rankings, which is essentially the NCAA's evaluation tool, kind of replacing that RPI. And they've looked good this year in parts. And not only that, you know, Steffi, they've done so against some really tough teams within the conference, right? 5 of their 6 losses have come against ranked opponents.
Yeah, I mean, it's tough to say that they have a bad loss. I mean, they really don't. And that's why right now they're projected as a 7 seed.
Out on the break is Kiki Smith, the steal and the finish. 24 points for Smith, leads all scorers in this ball game.
Remember, coming off a game against Kentucky where she had 23 and 10. Jordan Lewis with the response. Been so impressed with the play of the senior. But how about this senior, Kiki Smith? Starts with the defense. This is where she's so good in transition, finding the right angle, going right at Megan Abrams. And then another player who's so good at drawing contact, getting to the free throw line in particular, is Jordan Lewis. Where she shoots 81% from the line. Alabama, really good free throw shooting team.
That's where they seem to not falter. And kind of the approach for Christy Curry, and we've seen it work here for her tonight. Shoot threes, layups, and free throws. And when you have one of the most consistent free throw shooters, Jordan Lewis, she knocks it down.
Alabama foul on number 12, Ali Cruz. That's her first team second.
We've seen what the big 3 means to this team, and tonight it's all the more evident. 48 of the 66 points have been scored by the big 3.
But you also think Hannah Barber hitting big threes when you need them, taking a charge. Megan Abrams in transition. How about Faith Duke? Never seen a foot stomp celebration, but I'm going to take it. Watch this celebration. Faith Duke getting on the glass.
Get it! Emphatically. I want the floor to shake. But you know what I liked about that offensive rebound is she held her hands high. She didn't bring it back down. She just kind of tapped it right back in.
You know, she's got an interesting story. She didn't start playing basketball until she was 14, so kind of late to get into the game. She's one of the more vocal leaders on this team, as indicated by that expressive celebration.
She competed for the Canadian national team, sophomore out of Vancouver. Knocking it down is Danielle Rainey.
Big 3.
Rainey with her first 3 points of the game.
Much needed. And see, the Gators, they just hang around. They always keep it close.
that's what's dangerous about this Gator team. I mean, 88-80 decision against Kentucky Monday. Prior to that, they won in overtime in Baton Rouge.
Jump ball, Florida basketball, alternating possession.
The Gators are playing inspired basketball because they're missing their leader, Lavender Briggs. There's Rainey, little shimmy. Look, she's feeling good. She's a senior. She's coming off 20 against Kentucky, hit 6 threes. I'm a shimmy too. Might not look that good, but I don't know, Tiff. You see me dance a little bit.
I mean, you got some moves now.
Okay, thank you.
I'm not going to sleep on you, partner.
Okay.
You got a little something in you.
It's just the right song, you know what I'm saying?
Right. It's got to move you. It's got to move you. But, you know, when you knock down a three like that, that can move you too. But, you know what's also encouraging, if you're a fan of the Florida Gators, is that it looks like, you know, even though they're trailing right now, they're having a good time as Jasmine Walker is getting tended to by the trainer. She's back on the floor. But you like the celebration, the enthusiasm, the competitiveness that you've seen. And that's something that I feel like just watching the Gators, you can characterize them by using the word fight, because that's what they have done all season long. They put up a good fight, but you like that they're caring. They're right there.
Yeah. It's the passion intensity for me, because just from a former player standpoint, it's good to care. Like, you want to see that it matters to somebody. Like, that was my biggest thing, is like, when you go out there, you want to compete. It matters to me representing my university, and you can see that from the players suiting up for the Gators. Should point out, my friends in studio told me to not dance. Hi, haters.
Ooh, come get some. That's all right. The next time you're in studio, y'all should do like a little dance off. You know what I'm saying? You just hit them with a, you know what? You should hit them with the busted challenge. Oh, baby. All right, let's keep it moving.
I'm going to let you do it.
Drea, I feel like she can hold it down. 4 to go on the shot clock. Jordan Lewis nearly picked the pocket. Got to get a shot up. And a violation as the Gators turn it over. Their 14th turnover of the ball game.
Alabama here with five minutes to go can really turn the page and put the foot on the gas and extend this lead. That's what you want to see for Chrissy Curry, to put teams away.
Left hand pops in and out, but the question is, can they put that foot on the gas?
I've seen them have teams. Yeah, I've seen them have teams kind of hang around. But I was impressed with Auburn, in large part because Jasmine Walker just was burying threes in that second half, closed the game out.
And right now, she seems to be a little gimpy, kind of in and out. We had a bandage wrapped around her left leg. Moore trying to look for Dute inside. Instead, puts it on the floor and hands it over. In transition, here's Lewis. She's not afraid of a little contact, and she'll go to the charity stripe and shoot a couple. We'll step aside quickly here from Gainesville. We'll be back with more.
Well, coming up at 7 o'clock, the Lady Vols hosting South Carolina. Renaya Davis coming off a big weekend.
Oh, yeah, she showed out, played really well after some COVID issues against Texas A&M.
Looking forward to seeing that game. Like we said, just under 30 minutes away. Dre and I still kind of want to see those dance moves from Steffi, though.
Yeah, Steffi, please, can we see the shimmy?
Guys, be careful what you ask for. Don't want to blow you away. Tiff's laughing, but hey.
Look.
We got good synergy, you know. Everybody in studio, us in the game, guys in the truck. Got a good game.
It's a great game. You know, I just needed a quick flash on camera so that you could have just hit him with it. You know, pop, in and out. You know what I'm saying? It's like stick and move. Duh, No? Okay. Meanwhile, 66-59 with 4:42 here to go. In this one, Alabama on top. The big three have producer Raya Copeland with 10 points. Destiny Walker with 22 to lead all scores for the Crimson Tide, and Jordan Lewis trying to add to her 16-point total. So the question is, Steffi, what's Florida got to do? You talked about stringing together some of those stops, 3 in a row if you can look, and who else is going to help Kiki Smith on the scoring end as Walker deflects that one?
Well, it's got to start with better defense and making sure you know where Jasmine Walker is at all times. Love the fact that she's impacting both sides of the floor, becoming a complete player. But for the Gators offensively, Kiki Smith being a viable option, getting into the paint. How about dishing it out to maybe Danielle Rainey, who's fresh off hitting the three-pointer, and can't say enough how much respect we have for what Kiki Smith has done.
Again, if you're just joining us, Lavender Briggs sidelined for the remainder of the season with a foot injury. The Gators leading scorer, missing her, well, this is the second game without their leading scorer, should I say. And Copeland, who's used to making those right around the bucket, sees it rim in and out.
Alabama foul number 5, heading over. That's her fourth. Team fourth.
Well, Kiki Smith, who we talked about being a really good defender, as Barber picks up her 4th personal foul and sends Smith to the line. We've really seen just that shift in offense in her game this season, just to add to her arsenal. And it's all the more important, especially now with Lavender Briggs out.
Briggs is having such a sensational sophomore year. The numbers that she was putting up against ranked opponents, over 20 points. I mean, just as a sophomore, it was just incredible to watch.
And the fact that she'll still go down in the record books for the Gators this season, averaging the 4th most points per game by a Gator, is quite impressive. Of course, they would certainly love to have her on the court right now, but Nina Ricard's getting the bucket. Gators within 6, Alabama.
Florida's outscoring Alabama right now, 13-8 here in this 4th quarter. Copeland's left a few bunnies, doesn't there. Again, stops and scores for Florida.
Trying to split through those defenders, and Walker gets a hand on it.
You know what's a remarkable stat is Kiki Smith and Nina Rickards get almost a third of Florida's total rebounds, and neither of them are over 5'10".
Wow.
Just hustle and grit from those two.
Great rebounding guards, and you know, you hear all the time about just how passionate you have to be. It's just a want to when you go up on the boards. Barber into Copeland. And Duke is whistled for the foul.
That's her second. Team third.
Her second personal.
She's brought great energy today defensively. Obviously has her hands full defending the senior Raya Copeland. Again, coming off that really good game with 21 and 11 against Auburn, but lots of upside with Faith Duke.
SEC Network Women's Basketball is presented by Regions, official bank of the SEC. Alabama drawing closer to notching their 7th win in the SEC with just over 2 minutes to go and a 10-point lead. Alabama spins a timeout. Well, just a reminder to our viewers tonight, you'll see SEC Now after that big ball game between South Carolina and Tennessee. Alyssa Lang, Andrea Carter, and Coach Andy Landers in studio. You know, they have been just dropping knowledge all throughout this season. Just a really fun cast of characters, but really, obviously, professionals. They're just fun to listen to, great insights for the game, and yeah, it's just a good watch.
All right, they do a pretty good job. I'm just kidding. I love you guys.
Wait a minute, hater in the house? Okay, let's go with the SEC teams in the net top 50. Christy Curry is proud to come in at number 33, South Carolina with the highest ranking there, but several teams. The question though, Steffi, is, you know, could this year be the year that the SEC sends 9 teams, you know, to the tournament?
Yeah. So
like
last time they did that was 2016, and I really think that they could. It would come at the mercy of Alabama, you know, Mississippi State, Arkansas. They might lessen their seed if they get upset by, you know, maybe an LSU. Remember, Florida beat LSU, and they were on Charlie Cream's first 4 out. And now with Briggs hurt, you know, that kind of eliminates them from trying to get in. So I think LSU has a good chance, maybe if they have a good showing at the SEC tournament.
Well, the second half has belonged to the trio for Alabama. Meanwhile, Kiki Smith has been the show for the Gators, and she continues right there, knocking down the 15-footer, 27 points, which ties a career high for Kiki Smith. 1:17 to go. And Cam Newbauer, what's he saying in the huddle? Huh?
Well, get some stops defensively, and let's feed the ball inside to Kiki Smith, who's having an amazing night, 27 points, but I love the 4 threes, really expanding her game, showcasing it tonight at the O-Dome, keeping her team in this game against Alabama and their trio. But again, you can't say enough. 27, 3 rebounds, 4 assists. She's such a competitor. Like, you know, she just wants to win these games, you know? Going all out.
16 of those 27 coming in the second half, but also a number to circle, much like you did for her partner, Lavender Briggs. The 39 minutes played so far by Kiki Smith. Every minute of this ball game she's spent on the court. And there, she's trying to get into it defensively. I mean, she gets everywhere.
She gets the steal, and then she draws the foul. She's arguably one of their best defenders, especially on the open court. She's got great hands, good instincts, catches Hannah Barber. You know, that's what Cameron Newbauer applied, that full court pressure, trying to get some steals, trying to get some easy runouts.
Well, Hannah Barber collects her 5th and final personal foul. She's out of the ball game. Finishes the night with 8 points.
Got to go if you're the Gators. Got to score quickly here.
Under a minute to go. Ricard's going at the hoop. And Abrams wisely calls a timeout.
Timeout, Alabama.
So Alabama has 1 timeout remaining, 2 for Florida.
And a smart play by Abrams to call that timeout. Christy Curry loves Megan Abrams, the intangibles that she brings to the game. Plays like that, double majoring in finance and economics, so she's got some high IQ going on.
And has been one of the most consistent faces in the lineup for Alabama. Making her 68th consecutive start. Obviously, she didn't have the greatest game last game, but she finds a way to impact and affect the game in so many ways. And you saw right there the wise decision to call the timeout, advances the ball.
And Florida's got some fouls to give.
Yep.
So you can play a little bit more aggressive defensively.
It's deflected away, 11 seconds to go on the shot clock. Lewis over to Copeland. Lewis gets it back, and 3 jerseys in blue around her, and she's bailed out with the whistle.
Foul on number 10.
2 seconds to go on the shot clock, and Cam Neubauer maybe none too pleased with that foul right there.
The line for Alabama.
And he leans on Kelly Rae Finley, especially defensively, as they had some words there of what went wrong. Just some miscommunication leads to the foul. And Jordan Lewis, I mean, she does that. She does a really good job of drawing fouls.
And Lewis, the best free throw shooter on the team for Alabama, knocks down both, so with 21.9 seconds remaining. It'll be tough here as Florida spins another timeout. They've got 1 remaining. And the execution by Alabama down the stretch, you know, what did you like with obviously the veteran trio, Megan Abrams coming in with a career high 9 rebounds? I mean, everyone played their part.
I was particularly pleased with watching Lewis kind of just take the ball in her hands. Just a reminder, after this game, which has been really fun and competitive, we got South Carolina taking on Tennessee. I believe Courtney Lyle, Carolyn Peck will be on that game. But, you know, Alabama has experience, and especially at that point guard position with Jordan Lewis, kind of steadying her team. Late in the shot clock, draws the foul instead of turning it over. Florida, you got to think Kiki Smith or Danielle Rainey here.
And fouled on the 3-point attempt is Danielle Rainey. So Rainey will go to the line and shoot 3.
Number 10, Danielle Rainey. She'll shoot 3 shots.
Yeah, that was Taylor Sutton, who doesn't really get a lot of playing time. A middle Tennessee State transfer. Christy Curry not happy with that foul call.
Because it's most optimal if you're the Gators, right? You take a couple of seconds off the clock, you get 3 free attempts at the bucket.
Well, that was perfect execution for Florida. I mean, clearly they wanted to run a flare screen for Rainey to get a 3. You stop the clock and you get 3 points.
Mariah Copeland checking back in.
Remember, Hannah Barber fouled out, another really key ball handler for Alabama.
Abrams trying to push up the right side, and there's the whistle. So the quick foul from Rainey. About 5 seconds running off the clock.
You know, Alabama, if they can close this thing out here against Florida, they've got Mississippi State, Texas A&M, and Arkansas left before the SEC tournament. So there's some big opportunities for the Crimson Tide to get another win to really solidify their resume. Already beat Mississippi State earlier in the year. Can they do it again? Texas A&M has been really stout within the SEC, only losing to LSU, and Arkansas, as we know, is a fun team to watch. Have Jasmine Walker going against Dungy.
Timeout, Florida.
That will be a scoring fest. But, you know, Christy Curry always talks about, hey, you know, let's be fascinated with the opportunity. And let's be fascinated with the opportunity. We've already played tough against some ranked opponents. We've gotten a couple of wins, as you mentioned, Steffi. So, again, chance for them to try to close out in a big way this season going into the SEC tournament.
Well, you could feel the sense of hunger from this Alabama team, especially when you've got players like Jasmine Walker and Jordan Lewis, Mariah Copeland leading the way. And you have an opportunity to do something special, something that hasn't happened in 20 years, and that's get to the NCAA tournament, right? And they've been playing their best down this stretch. And if you're Christy Curry, you played well against Auburn. It's translating it here against Florida. You're able to close this out. Then you've got another opportunity ahead going against Mississippi State. I mean, these are good opportunities to get more wins, signature wins.
Well, Alabama is just about 12 seconds away from potentially closing this one out. They've won 3 of the last 4. Gators and Jasmine Walker, and her big, really second and third quarters helped to make the difference here. And again, it's just who do you want to lean on and what parts of the game. So Lewis was good early, Copeland as well, and then Walker says, I'll pull up the rear here for you. Quick shot for the Gators, missed, but a quick put back by Ricards. So again, Gators show great fight in this ball game. 3.5 seconds remaining, and this will be it. But great resilience and really a nice job by this group who was out their superstar, Lavender Briggs.
Yeah, and hustle plays, fighting. And here, great execution, the plays for Danielle Rainey. But check out Nina Ricards. I talked about a rebounding guard, gets in there, gets the putback for the Gators. Briggs is wishing she could get out there. You know, she's such a competitor. In these moments, you know, this is her. That was her moment, right? For Florida, give you the ball, down by 5.
But some encouraging pieces, 22nd chance points for the Gators, and again playing another team tight without Briggs. They fell to Kentucky, and will do the same here to Alabama.
One foul number 25, Faith 2, that's her third.
Well, Steffi, you talked about the road ahead, but I want to talk about this next game really quickly. South Carolina and Tennessee. I'm pumped. I'm ready.
Yeah.
You've got kind of the story program in Tennessee versus, you know, the hottest program going right now in South Carolina. Zia Cook, Leah Boston, such fun players to watch. Late season finalists on that wooden list.
You know, Andrea talked about it in studio that Tennessee has the length to keep up with South Carolina, and that's their height and athleticism. I've enjoyed this one with you, Tiffany, though. Good performance from Alabama, closing this thing out by 7, and another hard-fought effort from the Gators.
Jasmine Walker, Jordan Lewis, and Araya Copeland, the big three, did a whole lot tonight. 58 of the 77 points for Alabama, and a big win for Bama on the road for Steffi Sorensen and our entire crew. I'm Tiffany Green. Now we'll send it over to the studio. Hey, y'all.